Well, hello and how are you? Hey, friends, welcome to the Shen Show. I am your host, Shenandoah Briscoe, coming to you from right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Hey, you know what? Today's Friday, September the 4th, 2020. Got a happy birthday shout out going out to Tom Molino, Carol Craig, and Carol Craig. So, without further ado, Tom and Carol, Miss Craig, that is. Happy birthday to you. I said, hey, Tom. Hey, Carol. I heard it's your birthday today. So happy birthday, I'ma say. You know, you're 1 more year older today. So happy birthday to you, I say. I said, hey, Carol. Hey, Tom. I heard it's your birthday today. Another trip around the sun you have made. You know, I think you're gonna make it a wonderful day. So happy birthday to you, I say, and many more. Ya cha da cha cha cha. All right, there you go. Happy birthday to the two of you. All right, hey, let's look at the Shin Show likes shout outs. Let's do some Shin Show like shout outs. Those are folks that like the Shin Show on an average daily basis. And here we go with Samantha Ireland Barton. Yep, Samantha Ireland Barton. And then Martin Kelly, Rick Adams, Tina Cleashiel, D. Ashbrook, Mary Ann Williams Briscoe, John Briscoe, Steve Clary, and Jamie O'Driscoll. These are the folks that are liking the Shin Show today. Leonie's not on there, was she? I didn't see Leonie. Leonie, are you there? She's not on there. So that would be oh, and Whitney Doe is not on there, and uh, let's see, and there's other folks that like the show every day too. Um, Leonie Allen Baker or Baker Allen. Anyway, those are the likers of the Shen Show, and then I got my Facebook folk friends. Yes, sir, my Facebook folk friend today would be Amanda Sue Little. Always a Facebook folk friend for me and a Facebook folk friend for you. Well, I don't know if she pokes you, but she definitely pokes me. Anyway, hey, tonight's temperature, let's do some weather forecasting. Forecaster for the remainder of the day, clear skies with lows around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be light and variable. Now, Saturday, September the 5th, sunny skies, highs around 86 degrees Fahrenheit, with winds southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. A few clouds overnight with lows around 67 degrees Fahrenheit and winds light and variable. Now, Sunday, September the 6th, we got sunshine and clouds mixed in with highs near 90 degrees Fahrenheit and winds south to southwest at 5 to 20 miles or 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then a few clouds overnight with lows around 72 degrees Fahrenheit and winds are going to be south to southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies for Monday, September the 7th. Highs around 88 degrees Fahrenheit with winds southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies overnight with lows around 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be south to southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, September the 8th, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is quite possible. Highs around 84 degrees Fahrenheit with winds southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then mostly cloudy skies overnight. Scattered thunderstorms during the evening with lows around 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are going to be north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chances of rain 40%. Wednesday, to finalize our 5-day forecast, Wednesday, September the 9th. Considerable clouds early in the day, some decreasing in clouds later on in the day. Highs around 77 degrees Fahrenheit with winds north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, mostly cloudy skies with some showers later on. Later on at night, with temperatures around 58 degrees Fahrenheit and winds north to northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chances of rain 40%. That there, my friends, concludes our 5-day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area. Brought to you by none other than Papa John's Pizza. That's right, fixing to enjoy a Papa John's Pizza right here, right now. Yes, the delivery man is on the way. I wouldn't put it past Papa John's Pizza to be delivering me a tasty treat. Yep, the works pizza is what I generally order, with that combination of those flavors just combining themselves into a delicacy of delight. And then them hot wings, boy, I tell you gotta have the hot wings for sure, for sure. Mixing them in with that there ranch sauce and just cooling down the flavor. But then you gotta quench it down with that ice cold Pepsi Cola, a trickling down over the ice cubes and a fizzing up and making that straw dance in that bottle, so you can drink her down and have a fun time. And then, of course, you got to follow it up with some dessert. How about a delicious chocolate chip chocolate brownie? Mm. Ain't she a treat? All right, that there's your 5-day forecast for the St. Charles viewing area today, brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. All right, well, there's a song out there. I'm a singing along. I don't know that song, but I'll sing along to sing that song along. Let's see, how about checking in with the COVID watch? Yes, sir. Do you realize today that 8,897,081 people recovered from the COVID virus today? That's right, 18,879,081 people have recovered from the COVID virus today. Hooray, hooray, hooray! We've got to celebrate our survivals. There you go. We cannot get enough of that, enough of that, enough of that. Congratulate them for fighting their battle and not having to struggle through the war. All right, there you go. Now, what else do we got going on about the nationwide country nationwide? Nationwide is on your side. Let's see. Mark Twain speeches. Project Gunbecker. Mark Twain speeches by Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens was the name. Mark Twain was the name of the game. Introduction, preface, story of a speech. How about the story of the speech? This is an occasion particularly meant for the digging up of pleasant reminiscence concerning literary folk. Therefore, I will drop lightly into history myself. Standing here on the shore of the Atlantic and contemplating certain of its largest literary billows, I am reminded of things which happened to me 13 years ago, when I had just succeeded in stirring up a little Nevada literary puddle myself, whose sump flakes were beginning to blow thinly California word. Now, I started an inspection tramp through the southern mines of California. I was Calloway and conceited. I was callow and conceited, and I resolved to try the virtues of my nom de gris. I very soon had an opportunity. I knocked at a miner's lonely log cabin in the foothills of the Sierras, just at nightfall. It was snowing at the time, and a jetted, melancholy man of 50, barefooted, opened the door to me. When he heard my nom de gris, he looked more dejected than before he let me in. Pretty reluctantly, I thought, and after the customary bacon and beans, black coffee, and hot whiskey, I took a pipe. This sorrowful man didn't had not said 3 words up to this time. Now he spoke up and said, in a voice of one who is secretly suffering, "You're the fourth I'm going to move." "The fourth what?" said I. "The fourth literary man that has been here in 24 hours. I'm going to move." "You don't tell me," says I. "Who were the others?" "Mr. Longfellow, Mr. Emerson, and Mr. Oliver Wendell Holmes." Confounded the lot. You you can easily believe I was interested. I supplicated 3 hot whiskeys, did the rest. And finally the melancholy miner began, and said he, "They came here just at dark yesterday evening, and I let them in, of course. Said they were going to the Yosemite, and they were a rough lot, but that's nothing. Everybody looks rough that travels afoot. Mr. Emerson was a speedy little bit of a chap, red-headed, and Mr. Holmes was as fat as a balloon. He weighed as much as 300 and had double chins all the way down to his stomach. Mr. Longfellow was built like a prize fighter. His head was cropped and bristly, like as if he had a wig made of hair brushes. His nose lay straight forward and straight down his face, like a finger with the end joint tilted up. They had been drinking, I could see that. And what queer talk they used. Mr. Holmes inspected this cabin, and then he took me by the buttonholes and said he, "Through the deep caves of thought I hear a voice that sings, building three more stately mansions, oh my soul." Says I can't afford it, Mr. Holmes, and moreover I don't want to. Blame it if I'd like a pretty well either, coming from a stranger that way. However, I started to get out my bacon and beans, when Mr. Emerson came and looked on a while, and then he takes me aside by the buttonhole and says, "Give me agats for my meat. Give me cartahans to eat. From air and ocean bring me foods from all zones and all altitudes." Says I, "Mr. Emerson, if you'll excuse me, this isn't no hotel. You see, it sort of riled me. I weren't used to the ways of literary swells. But I went on a sweating over my work, and next comes Mr. Longfellow, and buttonholes me and interrupts me. And says he, "Honor be to Madge's whiskey. You shall hear how Pa Pook QS." But I broke in and says, "I beg your pardon, Mr. Longfellow, if you'll be so kind as to hold your yawp for about 5 minutes and let me get this grub ready, you'll do me proud." Well, sir, after they had filled up, I sat out the jug. Mr. Holmes looked at it, and then he fires up all of a sudden and yells, "Flash out a stream of blood-red wine, for I would drink to another day." For I would drink to other days. By George, I was getting kind of worked up. I don't deny it, I was getting kind of worked up. I turns to Mr. Combs and says, "I'd look here," says I, "look here, my fat friend, I am a running this shanty, and if the court knows himself, you you'll take whiskey straight, or you'll go dry. Them's the very words I said to him. Now, I don't want to see I don't want to sass such famous literary people, but you see, they kind of forced me, and there ain't nothing unreasonable about me. I don't mind a passel of guests and a trending on my tail, 3 or 4 swell around the cabin and strike attitudes and spouts. And pretty soon they got out a greasy old deck and went to playing in sure and 10 cents a corner. On trust, I began to notice some pretty suspicious things. Mr. Emerson dealt look Mr. Emerson's deal looked at his hand, shook his head and says, "I am the arbiter and the doubter," and calmly bunched the hands and went to shuffling for a new layout. Says he, "They reckon out who leave me out. They know not well the stubborn ways I keep. I pass them, I pass and deal again." Okay. Hanged if he didn't go ahead and do it too. He, he was a cool one. Well, in about a minute, things were running pretty tight. But all of a sudden, I see by Mr. Emerson's eyes, he judged he had already considerable 2 tricks, and each of the other ones show. So now he kind of lifted a little in his chair and says, "I tried a gobble of globes and aces. Too long the game is played." And down he flinched a right barrow. Mr. Longfellow smiles as as sweet as pie, and says, "Thanks, thanks to thee, my worthy friend, for the lessons thou hast taught." And blamed it if he didn't know with another right brow. "Just let it go, it'll close." Emerson clasped his hands on his bowie knife, and Longfellow clasped his on his revolver, and I went under a bunk. There was going to be trouble, but that monstrous Helms rose up, wobbled his double chins, and says he, "Order, gentlemen, and the first man that draws, I'll lay down on him and smother him, all quite on the podomatic, you bet." They were pretty. How come you say by now? You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and jump on into the Bible with Briscoe for the day. Not the Bible with Briscoe, but our daily bread portion of the program. Okay, kids, I'm sorry I'm not going to read to you tonight. I'm going to cut her short. I love you, but it's not, it's time for me to eat, so I'm going to do the daily bread portion of the program, and it's going to be brought to us today by the Bible with Briscoe 2020. The Bible with Briscoe 2020 is a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. Today's reading is going to be Psalms 143 through 145 and 1 Corinthians 14, 21 through 40. So don't forget to tune in to the Bible with Briscoe 2020. All right, let's see. Here we go. The daily bread The devotion is called Speak Up. And today's scriptures to go with that devotion is Colossians 4 2 through 6. Colossians 4 2 through 6. Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful, and pray for us to that God may open a door for our message, so that we may proclaim the mysteries of Christ, for which I am in chains. Pray that I may proclaim it clearly as I should, and be wise in the ways that you act toward outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversations be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. There you have it, Colossians 4 2 through 6. Hey, and that concludes the Daily Bread portion of the program today, which was brought to us today by the Bible with Briscoe 2020. Yes, the Bible with Briscoe 2020 is a daily reading of the Bible to be completed within 1 year. All right, hey friends, that's it for me. I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm gonna say, oh well, goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. Whoa, I said goodbye, my friends. It's time to go. Oh, I hate to leave you, but I really must go. So goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. This here has been Shenandoah Briscoe saying hello and how are you? Thanks for tuning in to the Shen Show, and as always, you know. God loves you, and so do I. So come back and see me again tomorrow because, well, hey, I'll be here, and I hope that you are too.